Well, I just flew in from Atlanta, Georgia, where I spent the day speaking 2 or 3 times yesterday to some incredible people. And it never ceases to amaze me. Everywhere I go, there is one common theme that people are lacking. And it doesn't matter. Yesterday, I did 18 to 25-year-old students at Paul Mitchell School. Then I did a private event that we had about a small group of people come to that was interested in their potential. And then I went back and did another event last night. I had 2 people fly with me on the plane down to Atlanta. And they both said the same thing. They said, I needed a reset, number one, coach, and I needed to get clear over my next move. So sometimes simple concepts like this book, A to B, from A to B, is just a structure. It's just a structure to help you gain clarity. And over the last 1 years, I've been coaching people, and it would shock you how many people come up to me, no matter what they've done in their life. They're just getting started to they're making millions of dollars. And they say, I'm really not clear on what's next, what my next move is, what my next play is. Should I be focused on that? And I would tell you from the guy who wrote the book that I feel the same way, right? I wake up and I go, should we grow greatness factories? Should we build success schools? Should we do retreat to attack centers? How do we do this, this, and this? See, I wake up just like you do. And so the real problem we're going to tackle today is confusion. And the confusions that I see are over where am I going, number one. Number two, who can help me get there? Okay, who is skilled enough to help me? Who do I need on my team? Who can handle the sales? Who can handle the marketing? Who can handle the promotion? And the third thing, which is where a lot of people get stuck, is how. How do I do it? I don't know how to do it. I was telling a guy who flew with me on the plane yesterday, I said, man, I think if I put out tomorrow that I wanted to raise 20 million of capital or 50 million of capital, that I could do it. But then it's like, how do you do it? Who's going to work with the investors? You have all these dreams and visions in your mind, but it's like, I just don't know how to do that. So the question becomes, who can help me? And if you know anything about me, guys, what I do is I look at recurring problems in the market. And I go, what is a problem that I see over and over and over? And then I'm like a tool maker. I go into what I call into the woods. So I go into a creative mode and I tinker and I go, what would be a structure that would solve this problem for these people? And I actually saw a guy do a similar exercise, A to B, many years ago. And I go, you know what? It's so simple, but it's so clear. It's so simple, but it's so clear. And when I left, I'm like, this is what I want to do. So I began playing around with this structure, refining it, tweaking it. And then I said, I'm going to write a book on it one day. And I literally wrote the book in maybe 2 days. And I called my company, my project management company. I said, I want to turn this into a book. I want to turn it into an 8-module course. I want to turn it into a webinar. So to all the people who have purchased the book, thank you. To all the people who are gone through the book, thank you. You'll be getting the modules. I just cut the modules last week. So those will be coming out to all the people who purchased the book. If you hadn't got the book, I would encourage you to get the book because it's going to make you think. And a guy who read the book last week, Christopher Bradley, who was in Atlanta with me yesterday, said, Coach, when I got to the part where it said, just because you can solve a problem doesn't mean that's the problem you're supposed to be solving. He said, I knew when I read that line that I had to call you and hire you to be my coach. And that was a guy named Eric Rios, who has built and sold 3 different companies. And he came in last week and spent a full day with me. So when you think about this concept is a structure. Now, here's the first thing I'm going to tell you. Josue, good to see you. And I think everybody will appreciate this from today's webinar. There will be no pitch at the end of this webinar. There will be no offer that I'm going to make to anybody throughout the webinar. There'll be no, at the very end, I'm going to spend 20 minutes offering you the coaching services. I think most of you guys know who I am. And I told my team, I'm just going to coach for an hour and a half. I'm going to allow people, and if they are interested in doing something with me, whether it be buy the book, come to our conference, spend a day with me, then, they can reach out to us at info@coachburt.com, and our coaches can help them, because I'm actually finding the more I bring value to people, and the more I just do what I do best, which is coach people, the more people want to move forward with something. So I just want to tell you that up front, that you got to worry about at the very end, me making some kind of offer to you. I'm just going to coach you for the next hour and a half. And if you got questions, it'll be interactive. We'll take those questions. Okay. Now let's talk about this, and let's talk about the problem for just a second. Okay. And the problem, and the reason I wrote the book is because I believe money changes hands when problems are solved. And if I could wave a magic wand and make the things that bother you go away, and you could say, oh, I could tell you right out of the gate, coach, the 3 things that bother me the most. And if I could just solve these 3 problems and get clear over who could help me solve these problems, okay, then, man, it would be incredible. Like today, a gentleman just rented another office at my Greatness Factory in Nashville. So we've rented 2 offices at the Greatness Factory this week. And I have these 10 offices. And I'm like, man, if somebody just came along and said, I can handle that, I will rent all of those offices for you, coach. All you got to do is focus on coaching and promotion and being the best that you can be. I'd be like, hey, boom, there's the magic wand I've been looking for. Who can solve that problem? So when you're thinking about this, it's like we wake up in the morning and you say, what's the real problem? The real problem is distraction. The real problem is distraction, David Strauss. The real problem, Benjamin, is distraction. And the reason there's distraction is there's too much information. Okay. And so when you wake up in the morning, you say, what's the problem? The problem is I could focus on all kinds of things, but I don't need to focus on all kinds of things. I actually need to know how to focus on the most lucrative things. I need to be able to focus on the most enjoyable things. I need to be able to focus on things that bring me internal profit, Marissa, and external profit. I need to make the noise go away. Okay. That's a book title, by the way. I need to make all this noise go away so that I can wake up every day and listen to what I'm about to tell you. Do what is highly enjoyable and what is highly profitable. Everybody see that? I want you to write that down so you really get it. Our goal is to move toward our B so that we are highly enjoyable. What we're doing is highly enjoyable and highly profitable. See, I flew down to Atlanta yesterday on my plane. I took 2 people with me. They invested to go with me to Mastermind. Both of them said it was an incredible experience. We had fun. We had dinner together. I coached 3 times yesterday, and I thought, this is fun. This is good, right? Now, the question becomes, how do we do what we love? How do we do what we're good at? How do we do what's highly profitable and highly enjoyable? And then how do we have leftover money at the end of the month? So the problem is distraction. Okay. This is the real problem that we're facing. And the first thing I do when I start off the book, Dr. B, if you notice this book, when I very first start off, I start off with the definition of clarity. And clarity is a state of having a full, detailed, and orderly mental grasp of something. Okay. So think about this. It's full. I can see it. It's full. It's detailed. It's orderly. It's like I got a full picture in my head of where I'm trying to go. I'm clear in who could help me get there, right? And I've got a real good grasp on this, on how I measure success and how I move from A to B, okay? So then I go into this concept of the book of saying, okay, when Dan Pink wrote the book Drive, he studied motivation, right? I studied that book when I wrote Flip the Switch. And he basically said that people are most motivated when they have 3 things. I want you to think about these 3 things as it relates to going from A to B. He said when they have autonomy, which is their ability to do what they want, when they want, how they want, okay? It's like, hey, man, as long as I'm getting results, I have this autonomy to do what I want, when I want, how I want. You see, just a minute ago, I took a break. I went for a swim right before this webinar. I went for a 2 or 3 mile bike ride. Then I went for a swim to get myself, because I flew in this morning. I'm like, I need to get my mojo going. I need to get my energy going, right? Oh yeah, let me go just take a little swim. 10 minutes, boom, get that energy flowing, get that prey drive activated. Well, I had the autonomy to do that, man. I got a home office. I can step out there and I can swim. I can get in here and be ready for a webinar. So he said people are motivated. So I want you to think about your B, because isn't what everybody wants time freedom? Isn't what everybody wants money freedom? All your future days are paid for. Isn't what everybody wants relationship freedom, to work who you want to work with and who you don't want to work with? Is it what everybody wants is purpose freedom, so that you are on point doing purposeful things? You're not bothered by things. You're in a relaxed state. You're being successful. You're moving. See, your B is like, hey man, I woke up today and I hit my sales goals, and I went for a swim, and I went for a bike ride, and I spent time with my kids, and I got to see my wife, and I flew in on my own private jet. Like it's like, man, this is a pretty dang cool life. Isn't that what B should be like? B is an ideal picture of where you're trying to go. A is where I'm at. It's like, all right, what do I have to move to get this thing clicking, to get to that level where all my future days are paid for? Okay. I don't ever have to worry about money. I got money freedom. I got time freedom. I can do what I want, when I want, how I want. I got autonomy. See, what Daniel Pink is saying there, guys, is we are most motivated when we can control our time, our energy, our money, our purpose, our relationships. That is what he's saying there. So the reason I start the book off with this is to say everybody's B should be like, look, autonomous life, number one. Number two, purposeful life. We're exchanging our time and energy for purpose. That's what purpose is, exchange. Okay, I did a whole program on that called Purpose to Profit. And number three, and this is very important to what this webinar is about, is you are going to feel happiest and most motivated when you are making progress toward a meaningful goal. What did Thoreau say? What was success? The continued expansion of happiness and the progressive realization of a worthy goal, which means I am happiest when I am pursuing something that matters to me. Did everybody hear what I just said? Okay, I can't see your faces, so I'm assuming everybody's raising their hand. You can raise your digital hand, okay? Now, see, people ask me, what's your definition of success, Coach? Hey, Thoreau, I don't need to come up with one. Henry David Thoreau already came up with a great one. The continued expansion of happiness and the progressive realization of a worthy goal, which means I wake up and I'm happiest when I'm pursuing something. Guess what, Karen Maxwell? Your B is what you're pursuing. Okay. And I'm doing an event for her in Mexico. Okay. And I'm happy when I'm in Mexico, by the way. So when you think about it, I wake up and I have autonomy and I have purpose and I'm making progress. And I am making progress towards something. Now, here's what that something is going to be called from this point forward. Your B. So when I'm coaching Derek Butler, if he comes to me and says, Coach, I'm not clear on what I'm trying to do, the very first question I'm going to ask him, Marty, is what's your B? B is some desired outcome that you're trying to drive in a concentrated period of time. Right, Lee Simmons? It's like I'm here and I'm trying to get there. And you know why I'm trying to get there, Postway? Is because I believe if I get there, I'll be happier. See, I saw Ed Milet. I was speaking in Salt Lake City. It was me, Milet, Tim Grover. That's a pretty good lineup, folks. And Milet gives this whole talk on happiness. Like what we do is we move toward things that make us happy. McDonald's got a freaking happy meal. Okay. And they sell those happy meals like crazy, by the way. It's a cheeseburger and fries that little kids get. But why? It's like, I'll take a happy meal, okay? Because I think it'll make me happy. That's what people think. So when you're thinking about this, your B is something that you believe will make you happy. Well, when I did this exercise, I do it every day, A to B. If I spent 3 nights a month with my wife, just me and her, doing whatever we want to do, that'd make me happy. And it'd make her happy. If I spend X number of time with my kids every day, that'd make me happy. If I stayed at our house in Florida 90 days of the year where I ride my bicycle into work in the morning, you guys know I ride my bike into work when I'm in Florida, right? It's like me and my book bag, riding my bicycle to work. It's beautiful. I go, now that'd make me happy, Kevin Bowen. And I said, man, if I could coach at my lodge X number of days a year and people from all over the world came and I got to spend time with people at my lodge coaching them, at that environment, I'd be happy. If my business was doing 10 million of revenue and we're operating on a healthy profit margin of X%, I said, you know what? That'd make me happy. If we're hitting our sales goals every day, if we're helping a lot of people, make me happy. See, what I started doing when I wrote this book is I go, okay, Lovey, what would make me happy? What is my B? Then I moved to the book till I start going, okay, here's what we're looking for. Clarity over our next move, Bob Ritchie. Okay. Over our next move, over our bigger future, over our finances, with our passive income becoming greater than our living expenses. There's probably not a person on this call today that one of your B's, how many of you believe that one of your B's should be your passive income is greater than your living expenses? Okay. You can raise your digital hand or put a little thumbs up emoji or whatever the case may be. Because if your passive income is greater than your living expenses, then you don't have to worry about money. And Brittany would tell you, and my team would tell you, do you know how many people I see have to worry about money every day? The anxiety that creates. So one of my B's is my passive income is greater than my living expenses. But what if you never do anything to move toward that? What if you never move toward residual income? What if you never put money into an investment that can grow income? What if you never, for me, it's real estate. What if you never buy cash flowing real estate? What if you're still in the same problem at 65 years old that you were at 45 years old? Because you never move toward the B. Okay. Here's some more clarity that we're looking for. Clarity over your anxiety that you have. How do I get clear and remove the anxiety in life? Clarity over my talents. This is a big one. That's why I do purpose to profit. Okay. Clarity over my talents, clarity over my happiness. Now, could it be also that we move along through life and we actually become a successful failure? We're successful in some areas of life, but failing in other areas. This is why when you're doing A to B, somebody asked me this yesterday in Atlanta, it doesn't need just to be professional goals. Like your B doesn't just need to be, I make this much money and I got this big a house and I got this nice car. Part of your B needs to be, I'm happy, I'm healthy. See, on the way home today, one of the people flying with me said, you know what? I lack discipline. He said, I used to be 205 pounds. Now I'm 280 pounds. See, part of his B needs to be, if you're happy at 205 and you feel healthy at 205, part of his B needs to be, I weigh 205 pounds. I'm healthy, I'm happy, I've got energy, I'm vibrant, I'm disciplined. I wake up every single day and I exercise every morning as a habit. I'm hitting my sales goals. I'm hitting my personal goals. I got spiritual goals. I got physical goals. I got emotional goals. I got mental goals, and I'm hitting those. See, the only reason I went back to get my doctorate is because I had a goal of learning more about business. I was a basketball coach. I didn't want to go back to college for 4 more years, but I was sitting in my office one day going, man, I'm starting to coach businesses. I really need some business knowledge. So I clicked online and signed up. I didn't know what I was doing. I signed up for a $60,000 doctorate program, folks. And I'm like, oh yeah, we'll figure it out. And now I'm enrolled in a 4-year program to get my doctorate degree. But you know what? It was a good thing because I had a goal of learning businesses and learning how businesses work. So when you're thinking about your goals, I want you to understand this real simple thing that seems simple, but it seems complex to a lot of people, is that I'm at A right now, and there's certain things about life, and I'm grateful for everything, but there's a few things about life that I go, you know what, Batman, it's just not clicking the way I want it to click. Or Chaz Roberts, I may say, you know what, I'm successful over here, but maybe my passive income goal is not where it needs to be. Or this gentleman on the plane saying, you know what, I just need to get my physical body where I want it to be. Back when I was clicking, back when I was on every cylinder, back when I was working out every morning. That is a B goal. Okay. So people ask this question, do I need just one goal? No. Your B goal can be as many B's as you want it to be. Like if you saw mine, there's like 10 to 15. Physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, relational, kids. Okay. My B goal is like, all right, in an ideal world, Coach Burt is clicking on every possible cylinder he has, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. How many of you at one point in your life, you were clicking on every cylinder, the prey drive was activated, you were crushing it, and somewhere along life as story says, knocked the shout out of you. and you needed a reset. And you're like, boom, I just got hit. I got sucker punched in the gut, knocked me off my goals, and I need to reset my B. Okay, I need to reset my B. This is a lot of people, folks. And it's like, look, I need to get clear again on where I'm going. Okay, so let's get into some of the content, and I'm going to work through the book. Okay, I'm going to work through the book, and then I'll take some breaks here, Brittany, as we go, to take some questions from people and unpack something, so it's not just straight through and people like, man, he's just going and going and going. I'm passionate about this, man. I am passionate about this because this is really what I do for people. I help them get clear, whether they come and spend a day with me. Number one thing people say is, I'm clearer today than any day I've ever had after spending a day with you, and that gives people motivation. It's like, I'm ready to go, man. Let's go do this, coach. So let's start off with the book. If you're following along with me in the book, I start off by saying, if you don't believe your B is possible, then this is going to be a rough journey. Okay. And I actually start off by saying, when I was kind of insecure in my life, my self-talk wasn't where it needed to be. I said, first, I'll be a good coach, but I'll never be a championship coach. I'll be a good author, but I'll never be a Wall Street Journal best-selling author. I'll be a great coach, but I'll never be as good as Tony Robbins or whoever else, Grant Cardone, whoever else is out there that you study. This was limiting beliefs I had. And when I wrote the book, Flip the Switch, it was like, boom. No. Ain't no more of that. I'm gonna be a Wall Street Journal, New York Times best-selling author. I'm gonna be a championship coach. I'm gonna be one of the top coaches in the world. So belief. I start the book off by saying, do you believe your B is possible? Because if you don't believe it's possible, see, Brittany, there's a house on the ocean down in Seaside that they started, but they didn't finish because the person who started it got in an argument with the contractor. They never finished it. They're in a lawsuit. And me and my wife ride up there, and we'll ride by that house and I'll say, there's our house right there, sweetheart. Okay, there's our house right there on the ocean. See it right there? It's $13 million, $14 million. Look at that. Look at our house. See, look at how I'm talking about it. There's our house up there on the ocean. Okay. The houses in Seaside off the ocean are 6 million. The ones on the ocean are 13 million. Okay. So it's like, hey, there's our house right there. See, the first thing we got to do, we got to see it. We got to touch it. Here's what I got to tell you. You got to believe it's possible. Because if you don't believe it's possible, you set these big goals and then you don't reach them and you go, well, Danielle, it was too big of a goal anyway. Well, I don't really deserve a $13 million house on the ocean. Well, that's for my buddy Chuck McDowell, who's got one on the ocean, but not for me. See, I can never build a $100 million company. First thing I say in this book is, if you don't believe your B is possible, it'll never happen. Never. The reason you write the B goal down, Daniel Gomez, is because it programs it in the subconscious mind. And you are now telling the brain, this is going to happen. Okay. Do you know how many times I wrote down on a piece of paper, I'm a championship coach. I have a championship ring. I'm one of the best coaches on planet Earth. Do you know how many times I've written down I'm a Wall Street Journal best-selling author? Do you know how many times I've written down my company's doing this much in revenue easily? We're having fun. This is exciting. Okay. You know how many times I've written that down? That's what I'm saying in the book. If you don't believe it's possible, it ain't going to happen. Don't write it in present tense, powerful language, precise. I own this house on the ocean's $13 million, man. And so, because that's part of your B, and guess what it does, Israel? It activates the prey drive. What did Pink say? Purpose activates the prey drive. Autonomy activates the prey drive. And progress activates the prey drive toward the B goal. Okay. Now, in chapter 1, I talk about confusion. And confusion is randomness in motion. Okay. This is what confusion is. So you're running around like a little Tasmanian devil. And it's like, what are you trying to do? Okay. What are you doing? Where are you going? When we do couples retreats, the very first exercise we do is A to B. What if I told you 9 out of 10 couples were not clear on their B? 9 out of 10 couples go, one's going this way and one's going this way. One's ready to retire and one's going ready to go back to work. One wants a place on the ocean. One wants a place in the mountains. It's like, what are we trying to do? Which is why we do the A to B exercise. What are your goals? What are my goals? Okay. And how can we put these goals together so that there's an intentional congruence to these goals? We're using your talents, we're using my talents. So what I say in chapter 1 is confusion is randomness in motion. And the reason you have randomness in motion is because you don't have clear B goals. See, in my company, it's real simple. We're trying to hit this number annually. We're trying to hit this number monthly. We're trying to hit this number daily. We're trying to collect this much money. We're trying to operate on these profit margins. We're trying to decrease churn and opt-outs to less than this percent. It's like we got to start and we got to say it's clear. Okay. So my sales team knows every day what our goals are. They know what our system is for achieving those goals. They know we're going to meet at 9 a.m. every morning. They know I'm going to most likely tell them the same things, right, Brittany Hall? It's like, it ain't like I'm going to come in there and tell them something new. I'm going to say, look, I write the books. I'm going to tell you exactly what to do. This is exactly what you got to do. I'm even going to break it down and tell them exactly how to say it. This is how you initiate a phone conversation. This is how you do it. Why? Because I don't want to create confusion. And I have a mind that does this right here. It just runs around, just runs around, just runs around. Okay. It's called monkey mind. And I got ideas and I got visions and I got thoughts. But if I don't bring those thoughts in and I go, how do we make decisions? Okay. So there's 3 ways I make a decision when an opportunity is presented to me. I want you to write these 3 down. And this is right out of the beginning of the book. There's 3 ways I make decisions. Okay. Number 1. Okay. Number 1, I look at return on investment. If I invest my time, my energy, or my money, I expect a 3 to 10 times return minimum on that investment. Okay. Now, if you're hiring employees, Miller, who wrote, not Dan Miller, wrote No More Mondays, but Donald Miller, who wrote Story Brand, he believes you should, you should get as much as a 50 times return on an employee. That's what he believes. Okay. That if you invest in a person, they should bring 50 times that investment back to the company. And that is a good employee. Okay. I put in here 3 to 10 times on every person. If you're not getting a 3 to 10 times return on something, then why are you doing it? Okay. So number 1, I look at return on investment, ROI. Number 2, I look at return on objective. I set an objective and I take the necessary steps to achieve the objective. Now, people say, what does this mean? When I wrote the book, Person of Interest, okay, when I wrote the book, Person of Interest, known as the but
Coach, what
all
happened?
right, I'm back. Just gave you a little break right there to take a bathroom break real quick. Now, here's the deal. You guys hear me okay? Okay,
Yep,
good.
loud and clear.
Okay, thank you, Derek. They did some stonework here at my house, and we're testing the internet to make sure it's all good. Now, here's what I'm saying though. I get off the plane today. Little guy comes out to the plane. They got the little uniforms on and getting the luggage off the plane. He said, Coach Burt, he said, I watch you on TikTok. I watch you on Instagram. Right? He said, I want to shake your hand, man. I said, man, it's so good that you watch me on TikTok. Now, have you bought any of my books? I'm like, hey, TikTok don't pay the bills, brother. I'm like, if you like what you see, he's like, man, I resonate with you so much. I'm like, hey, man, I need you to get a copy of that A to B book. It really help you here. Okay. Now, here's my point. The objective should drive the investment. Okay. So when somebody brings me an opportunity, hey, we want you to speak at this event. Hey, we want you to partner on this. Hey, we want you to get involved in this real estate deal. I first say, what is the objective? And does the objective drive the investment? So I look at it like that. What if I drive the objective, it drives the investment? So that's the second way I make a decision. Now, what we're trying to do here is avoid confusion. I'm at A and I'm trying to get to B. And Ben Barry brings me a real estate deal. And I go, okay, will this move me closer to my B? Will this move me closer to my passive income goals? Will this make me happy? What is the objective? I may say, I want, if I get down in Orlando, if I had a greatness factory in Orlando, will it help us scale the concept faster? See, I'm at A and I'm trying to get to B. Ben brings me an opportunity. Jose and Rebecca Soto bring me an opportunity. And I go, you know what? I'm like, will it move me closer to my goals or not? Return on investment, return on objective. And the third one, listen to what I'm about to tell you, energy. Return on my energy. How much energy is it going to take to move this from A to B? Okay. It is really hot in Orlando. So we'd have to think through this one a minute. Okay. Now I like Miami. Okay. You guys know I'm a Miami guy, but the Sotos show me some nice places in Orlando. So return on energy is before I'm getting involved, I'm asking myself a question, Derek Butler, does it move me toward my B or not? And if it doesn't, how many of you guys have gotten involved in something that sounded like a good idea, only to wish you never got involved in it? Please raise your hand. And and before you got involved in it, you should have stepped back, Chris Bradley, and said, okay, what's the objective? What's the investment? What's the energy? And here's the bigger question. Does it move me closer to my goals? See, we had Drew M said my last marriage. Now that was funny right there. Okay. That's a good one. Now we had a guy last week, a gentleman owns a $30 million roofing company, come and spend time with me. Loved working with him and his wife, two incredible people. They've invested as much as, I don't know, $250,000 to $350,000 in their coaching to get to level up. And he spent one day with me. And at the end of that day, he said, I'm clearer today than all of that. Now, here's what he said. All of that has been valuable. I don't have one negative thing to say about all of it, but spending one day with you, I have more clarity and action items than the last year and a half of doing all this other stuff. So what did we do? I'm forcing him to go, okay, you're at A and you're trying to get to B. Let's get clear on what B is. Here's what he said B is. I want a concept. I want to do a conference. I want to write a book. I want a book on it. I want to do this. Okay, good. Let's not leave this room today until we walk out of here with 7 action items. And you can go step by step through one of these things. That brings clarity. Okay. So here's what I'm looking at. Let's just take passive income for an example. This is an example because everybody on here is interested in passive income. I put this in the book on page 15. One of my personal B's is that my passive income, me and my wife's passive income, is greater than our living expenses. It is not greater than my living expenses right now. Okay, Julie. Right now, my living expenses, my passive income is not as good as my living expenses, or greater than my living expenses. So right now, most of my income is still active income. Why do you think I'm building a greatness factory? Passive income. Why am I buying retreat centers around the country? Passive income. And I'm looking to create that passive income that is greater than my living expenses. And every day I come home, I see Amazon boxes on the front doorstep. And so, which means I'm like, did my wife buy something else? Did my daughter buy something else? Because I'm gonna have to create some more passive income if we keep buying things from Amazon every time that I come home. So it's like, do I own stock in Amazon? So when I'm sitting here looking at it, I'm like, okay, here's what I say in the book. Number one, I sat down, and everybody should do this, Marissa. Everybody should sit down and write out exactly how much it costs you to live at your current lifestyle. How much does it cost for you to live? Okay. Number two, we need to evaluate how much passive income we actually have. Number three, we need to create more passive income strategies. Okay. Brian Charles says 3280. I like that. I like that. You're a lean machine. Number four, we need to find the people who can help us. Okay. If I want to buy, let me give an example. If I have a desire to own retreat centers around the country, like retreat centers that can house a lot of people, maybe they're on lakes, maybe they're in the mountains. It's like, who knows how to go find these places? Who can do this? See, this is why I'm saying in number four, we need to find the people who can move us toward our B. Number five, we need to decide which vehicle we're going to use. We're going to put money in the market. We're going to buy stock in Amazon. We're going to buy real estate. Number 6, we need to go to work and we need to get busy. Okay. That's chapter 1. Okay. 4 steps. I think I have 6 steps here. Know what our cost of living is. 2, evaluate our passive income. 3, create new passive income vehicles. 4, find the people who can help us, not how. Who? Okay, I want to raise capital. Okay, good. Who can do that? Who can handle that division? 5, decide our vehicle. And number 6, go to work to get busy. Okay, Josue said, have clarity on our passive income through working this exercise. There you go. See, they've done this exercise over and over and over. Jim said, I've earned more than 400,000 past 16 years passive income. I love that. Okay, pocket passive income. Number 2 was evaluate your passive income strategy. Some of you are making what's called residual income, and you're recruiting people. And if you're recruiting people, who do we need to be recruiting? Who can help us get to our residual income goal, no matter what that income goal is? Okay. Now, so chapter 1, and I'm not going to go through every single chapter, but it's a big one, is like, okay, let's get out of confusion. Let's get into clarity. What is our B and how do we get there? And if B is passive income, this is not magically going to happen. Something's got to happen. Okay, so we're going to go from mental creation to physical steps. Okay, so I sat down. If you looked at my notebook, you'd see me doing this. Today I was doing Greatness Factory right here. I'm going step by step through potential renters for the Greatness Factory. And I just rented another office today in the Greatness Factory to Dan Schindler, who owns a cleaning company out of Dallas, Texas. So I write down names and I go, okay, I'm looking for a mortgage person. I'm looking for a real estate person. I'm looking for a doctor. I'm looking for an attorney. I'm looking for these people. Who do I know who I can pick up the phone and call and say, man, I think you should have an office in the Greatness Factory. Okay. So that's toward the goal of passive income. Okay. Now we need what's called priority intelligence. Very few people talk about this. I don't even know if it's an intelligence, but I'm going to talk about it. There's IQ, how smart you are. Okay. There's EQ, emotional quotient. That's know-how, just how to get things done, how to bounce back. There's SQ, spiritual quotient, leading from conscience. There's PQ, physical quotient. I'm going to call this one priority intelligence, which is the ability to take large amounts of information and dissect that information and break it down into your greatest opportunities that are available to you. Okay. Now, what most people have is what I talk about in chapter 2 of the book, which is a success trap. Okay. And I don't know where I came up with this concept. I actually had a president of my company who I absolutely adored named Chelsea Colbreth. And she could do anything. She came in and ran the kids' school for a while, and then I put her in sales, and then she managed my speaking engagement. And she was a former high school principal, and that girl could do anything. And I said to her one day, here's my biggest concern about you. You're actually so good at a lot of things that you're not good at a couple of the main things I need you to do. And I said, you are actually in a success trap. Okay. And a success trap is when you are good at a lot of things, but you're a generalist and not a specialist. Everybody see that? It's like you're really good at a lot of things. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. Specialists make the big money. Generalists make general money. I'm a general insurance agent. I'm a general real estate agent. The guy who went with me on the plane said to me, he said, man, I said, you need to specialize in something. Specialize in negotiating, specialize in luxury, specialize in lakefront homes, specialize in connection. You can't just be a generalist if you want to make the big money. I'm a specialist at activating the prey drive inside of people. I am a specialist at helping people take all of their stuff and declutter all that mess and get clear. I'm a specialist at packaging an idea for money. Okay. And this is why people come spend a day with me. They're like, man, I got all these ideas. What do? I'm going to pull it out of you, man. Boom. I'm going to pull it out of you. Can't cook. I'm geographically illiterate. I'm not caught up in a success trap. I know what I'm good at and what I'm not good at. So the question becomes, how do I get out of the success trap? I make up my mind I'm a specialist. I am a specialist at moving other people from A to B. Okay. They have a dream and I have a skill. Everybody hear that? They have a dream and I have a skill. They have an ambition and I have a skill. They have a problem and I have a skill. Okay. Now, what we want to do with this book is we want to go, you know what? We want to spend 80% of our time. I actually made a note in my notes for today. We want to cut away 80% of the things that we're not that good at. We want to get down to the 20%, Drew, that we can be best at. And we want to spend our time, and that's what I'm saying in this chapter. Here's what I said. Here's what I want to do. I want to rejuvenate because I need to be rested. I had to talk with Tim Grover the other night about that. And we were talking about rest. How much should we be resting? He said, Coach, you ain't rested enough. Not in relationship to how hard you're working. He said, I work with Jordan. I work with Kobe Bryant. I work with Dwayne Wade. You're not resting enough to peak up at the levels you want to peak at. Okay. It's that simple. So I said, I want to rest and rejuvenate. I want to deliver concepts to people. I want to come up with concepts that deliver a direct hit to people, like what I'm doing today, like concepts like A to B, person of interest, flip the switch, $1 million follower. And I want to deliver in such a way that people go, boom, I got to work with that dude. Okay. Yesterday, I did an event, 12, 14 people, modest group. Every one of those people like, man, we need to be working with you, Coach, because I delivered a direct hit. And it was because I was excited, I was rested. And then I want to convert liabilities into assets. What do you want to do every day? If I said to you, David, name the 3 things that you want to spend 80% of your time doing. See, if I said every person on this webinar today, Fred, what's the 3 things you want to do every day? And how do we get you toward that? See, B would be I wake up and my whole day is centered around my unique skill sets. They bring me joy. They bring me happiness. They compound my energy. They bring me fun and they bring me money because we need the money to grow the business. Okay. Why am I building a greatness factory in Nashville? Because I like creating things. I like creating. I like creation. See, I figured this out yesterday. It's why I'm always doodling. I like creation. But if I got to do this and I got to do this and I got to do this and I got to do this, then I get pulled out of creation and that drains my energy versus compounds my energy. There's a drag. Okay. Lee said, I want to go fishing. Okay, good. See, if you can go fishing and make money, even better, Lee. So think about this. I'm going to ask you 4 questions right here and then we're going to move to the next concept. We don't want to get caught up in the success trap. Number 1. 4 questions I ask people. Number 1, what do you love doing? If you could wake up and do anything in the world, what would it be? This is passion. Number 2, what are you absolutely great at doing? It's natural. It's easy. It's your real genius. This is talent, baby. This is talent given to you at birth, found, located, refined. This is talent. 3, where is there a need in the world or a problem that fascinates you that you want to solve? Okay. Where is there a problem in the world? What problem in the world fascinates you? And you say, man, I think about it all the time, solving this problem. It fascinates me and it motivates me. This is where the money comes in, by the way. You solve a big problem, you make a bunch of money. You solve a small problem, you make small money. Number 4, what is your conscience telling you you're supposed to be doing? Okay, my conscience keeps telling me I'm supposed to be doing something for 18 to 25-year-olds that may or may not go to college, that want to find their talents, that are hungry. If you saw these people that I talked to yesterday, these young ladies, mostly young ladies, Paul Mitchell School, many of them were single moms, worked all day somewhere and was going to school to learn a skill, how to cut hair, how to style. They It took me a minute to get them cranked up, and then they were hungry. Like I could have stayed there and answered questions for 3 hours. This demographic was like, tell me how to do this. Tell me how to do this. Tell me how to do this. See, that is a problem. I'm like, you know what? Somebody needs to solve that problem. Could I be excited about solving that problem? Okay. So what is your conscience? And your conscience is that internal voice. Okay. Internal voice, Sarah, that keeps telling you, solve this problem. Work with this problem. Come up with something for this problem. See, that's B. B is I'm happy. B is I'm highly enjoyable and highly profitable. B is we're making money and we're having fun. B is I'm no longer in a success trap. B is I'm clear in who I am, what I do, and why I matter. B is I'm clear in who I want to work with and who I don't want to work with. Guess what I figured out? Carrie Robinson. I do not like working with people who whine, who pout, who complain, who make excuses. I'm like, come on, man. That is amateur hour. Like, figure it out, for God's sakes. Like, show up and get ready with batteries included, and let's go. Okay? That's the people I love working with. So the questions I ask at the end of this chapter, and then we move on to the next concept, is what success trap? I want you to type in the chat box here. What success trap are you caught up in that really drains your energy? That is keeping you away from your B. It's like, man, I'm stuck in this freaking trap. Elvis said, I'm caught in a trap and I can't walk out. What is it? Okay. So Kelly said the teacher world. I was a teacher. I had to start taking steps toward my B. My B was like, I'm going to get out of this and move toward my next goal, my next dream. Okay. So what is the success trap you're caught in that's actually draining your energy? It's not compounding your energy. It's actually sucking the life out of you. Okay. So Mary said confusion. This is why this book is perfect for you, Mary. Okay. Sometimes we just need a person to like say one thing to us, like do this. Like, why are you doing that? Sometimes, Brittany, we just need to get frustrated with something enough. And when we that's why I say in the book, value the plateau. The plateau actually gets you frustrated enough to do something. Okay. You know why I wanted to fly private? I was sitting on a Southwest plane one night, and the dude beside me pulled out a 12 pack of wings and was eating them beside me on the Southwest plane. You ever seen somebody eat chicken wings on a Southwest plane? And he's got wing sauce all over his face and the chair and the thing. And I'm like, you don't eat chicken wings on the plane, dude. The whole back of the plane smells like chicken wings. I was like, that's it. I'm flying private from this point forward. And I sat down and I literally wrote out on a yellow notepad, I'm tired of messing around with these things. I will go find enough money to fly private everywhere I go. It took that. It took that chicken wing night for me to make a decision, man. I'm telling you. So when you think about this, the actionable goals, David, is I got a mental construct of where I want to go. Now I need to get into action. But more than anything, who can help me? Who can help me? Who can help me crystallize this? Who can help me get clear on my next move? Who can help me get clear on my purpose? Who can help me get clear on what I need to do? Okay. I'll just take me, for example. I've been wanting to raise capital for a long time. Okay. But just actually raising capital, setting it all up properly, having somebody to manage it. It's like, hey, man, you get caught up in how versus who. Who is your who? Okay. Who is your who? Now, next chapter in the book, I get into really clarity over the problem that you want to solve and skill set. The capital, see, that's another confusion that I've had. What am I going to do with the capital? Am I going to build greatness factories? Am I going to buy, real estate, commercial real estate? Am I going to, what am I going to do with it? See, that's confusion. And when you have confusion, you don't do anything. Let's stop right here and take a question. Brittany, let's prompt the group for a question that we can tackle for a second. Then I'm going to get into something my buddy Rob Luna told me, which is the magic number. Getting clear on the magic number, and I'm going to tie this in. So who would like to come off mute and ask a question? Daniel Gomez, we're having a good time today, man. We're having fun. We're doing what we love doing. We're highly enjoyable. We're highly profitable. We're highly favored. We're helping people. All right, I'm going to tackle a question here. If you want to come off mute and ask a question, I'd be happy to take one right here just to break it up just a little bit. Where do you find these superstars and how do we approach them professionally? This is a great question. People ask me, how do I recruit people? And here's the honest, what if I told you I don't really have a recruiting strategy, but I actually just go out into the planet and exchange a lot of energy with people, a lot of positive energy. And man, good people come to me. I remember in 2012 or 2013, I'm in Riviera Maya, Mexico. I'm doing an event with Grant Cardone. It's a 10X seminar. I'm in the workout room working out, and a guy named Matt Monero is beside me. And he's like, "Are you Coach Burt?" I said, "Yeah, man." He said, "I'm reading your book, Zebras and Cheetahs. Love it." And I've just got connected to a dude that's running a $100 million company. We've become good friends from that. He hired me to be his coach, help him. Now, here's my point. There's all these rabid, hungry people around, 10X and everything, and going crazy and doing this. And I look at Cardone, I'm like, "Man, where did you find all these crazy people at? Like, where did you find all?" He's like, "What do you mean? Where did I find these people?" I didn't find them. He said, "They found me." And I'm sitting there thinking, like, what is he talking about? I didn't really get what he was talking about. Well, many years later, I just go out into the world and I attract people. Yesterday, I attracted 18 to 25-year-olds who are hungry to get better. I took 2 guys with me on the plane that both invested time and energy and money to fly with me because they said, "I want to go on that trip." Actually, when I put out that you could fly with me on Sunday, I had the idea Sunday night, 8 o'clock. I said, "I'm going to open up. It's like 3,500 a seat to go with me. We're going to mastermind." We had like 15 people reach out and say they wanted to go. Not everybody can make it happen, but guess what? Then they said, "Well, can't go on this trip because of the date, but I do want to come to a couples retreat, or I do want to do this." And I'm like, "Okay, great." It just took the jet ride to get people attracting people. So where do I find all these good people, Lovey? I go out into the world. I do webinars. I do speaking engagements. I do social media. I just pump it out, man. Just like a little machine pumping it out, just like I'm doing for you guys today, just giving value. And somehow great people find me. Bob Ritchie's on here. He found us yesterday. I talked to him. He said, "Man, I want to connect you to these people about the Greatness Factory and capital and raising money." See, people just find us.
So, Coach, we have another question on here from David. He wants to know, how do I create a blueprint for building his brand? Coaching, speaking, writing, and mentoring. He has all the pieces, but doesn't know how to focus it, bring it all in. So what
Well,
advice?
I think when you're building your brand, David, the first thing I would ask you is, what do you want to be known for? It took me till I was 41 or 42 years old to get real clear. Like, man, I know how to activate the prey drive in a person. Why don't I brand that? And that one thing got a lot of attention from people. Just naming it something, giving it a name. Like, I'm a specialist at this. Okay. I'm a specialist at packaging ideas for monetization. Okay. So what did I do? I started creating intellectual property around that. Package Your Purpose, which is a boot camp we have coming up. I started doing my own conferences, Monster Nation, which is coming up September 8th and 9th. I started doing virtual events, Purpose to Profit. All of them come back to a formula of finding, packaging, marketing, monetizing. A to B is a simple structure and concept, but look at it, man. We did this book on it. We did webinars on it. We're doing podcasts on it, teaching it to people around the world. So that's what I would do, is I would pick something I want to be known for that is in alignment with your skill set, that other people think is really valuable, that solves a problem for them. Okay. It solves a problem for them. Okay. Any questions before I move on to the magic number?
Oh, good. We have one more, Coach. Actually in the Q&A tab, it says, should you tolerate people who don't see you as valuable, assuming that you are?
No. Next question. I'm just joking. Here it is. This is what I say, Lee. We go where we feel celebrated, not tolerated. If you go somewhere and you constantly feel like people don't appreciate you, they don't want you there, they don't appreciate your skill sets, they don't value you, man, go where you feel celebrated, not tolerated. It's a great line. If I ever feel like I'm a liability, I told one of the most powerful people in the insurance business, many of you would know who he is. that I was doing a partnership with. I said, man, every time I'm around you, I feel like a liability. And I'm not. I am not a liability. I'm an asset to the people who see that. So I'm out. Okay. That's what I said. I'm out. Good luck to you. Okay. As old A.L. Williams used to say, we've only got one way. That's our way or the highway. Now, let's get into the magic number. I'm sitting at dinner with Rob Luna one night. Rob Luna is one of the top economic minds in the world. He's on Fox Business every week. Total genius. He's speaking at Monster Nation. He's one of my advisors on my wealth plan, and somebody I believe has the highest integrity you can imagine. And we're in Newport Beach, California. We're having dinner, and he said, I want you to help me, kind of work with my coaching, because I think I want to coach some people and mentor. And I started asking him, what are you trying to do? Do you want to coach people at workshops, boot camps, conferences? Him and Sean Ryan, the Navy SEAL, are doing a event at my lodge coming up soon. He's like, I said, do you want to do one-day events? What do you want to do? What are you trying to do, Rob? I said, what do you love doing? What are you good at doing? And he goes through this whole thing. And I said, okay, let me help you do it. And this is how you ask people when you're closing. Would you like my help with that? You're at A and you have a vision. You're trying to get to B. I know how to get to B. Would you like my help? Yes. I help him. I draw it up on right there on the thing. And then he says to me, now I would like to help you. And he asked me this question. What is your magic number? What is your magic number? And you said, Coach, all your future days will be paid for. All your future, see, that's wealth. All your future days are paid for. You wake up, you don't have to worry about anything. Right? He said, this is a confusion for people. What is their magic number? He said, once I know your magic number, so let me ask everybody on this call here, what is your magic number? What is your magic number? That's your B. That's your financial target that you're trying to hit. See, for me, I got a B for my company. It's like, all right, how do we hit that number? Who can help us hit that number? Okay. Who can help us hit that number? Who can help us in sales? What are the strategic partnerships? What do I need to be doing? How many people do I need to be in front of? See, once you know the magic number, which is a tangible number, see, a lot of B is qualitative. See, if you read Josue, if you read Sullivan's 10X is easier than 2X, he says you don't start with the number, the magic number. You start with bringing quality work. And it's about 10Xing the quality of work you do. And that will 10X the value you create, which in turn will 10X the money you make. And he talks about Michelangelo. Michelangelo would spend all of this time on this beautiful art, carving out, cutting away things that didn't fit. And then the wealthiest people in the world wanted to hire Michelangelo because he was so freaking good. And what Sullivan is saying is focus on the 20% of things you could be the best at. Be 10 times better than what you currently are, and watch your income go up. And don't focus on the money, focus on the value. So the magic number, Rob DeLuna is saying, hey, if you want to do 10 million, 20 million, 30 million, 40 million, that's the number, but you don't focus on the money. You focus on the value. So you step back and you go, how do I create unique value for other people that would solve their problem? All I'm doing with this A to B book, guys, is creating unique value and a simple structure that makes you think, which is what I think a good coach should be doing, making you think, challenging your thought process. I may come along in your life and say, man, you're playing too small. You're thinking too small. Now, to hit the magic number, guess what we need to do? We need to get clear on our primary skill, which is chapter 5 of the book. I ask people, Larry Davis, what is your primary skill? Joe McFerrin, what is your primary skill? I ask people, what is your primary talent? What if I told you from 31 to 35, my primary talent was just getting people excited, getting people motivated, getting the prey drive actor. I didn't want to call it prey drive then. What if I told you companies were paying me 6 figures routinely? Banks, mortgage companies, home builders. Here's what they would say to me. Just come in and infect these people with your enthusiasm. We got a bunch of dead people that need to come alive. We're going to pay you $150,000 just to get them excited, coach, and just keep them excited. That's literally what they would say. I'd be like, what exactly do you want me to do? And they said, man, just infect them with your enthusiasm. Just get them excited. Just keep them excited. That's what the CEOs would say. I'm like, that's it. If you could keep these people excited for the next year, it's worth at least $150,000 to us. It's worth a lot more. That's what we're going to pay you. So I would come in and get them excited and activate the pray drive and help them move from A to B. And I would formulate the plan. Let me see what Larry said here. Taking clients from stressed and unhappy to blessed and happy. Powerful strength. Okay. Now, if that is his unique ability, as Sullivan would say, then it's a matter of how do I package it? How do I market it? How do I get this message to people that I'm the best at it? So a primary skill is a skill that you have that comes from your past that has to be packaged into something that helps other people build their future. See, I am paying you for your past. Your past helps me to build my future. You're helping me go from A to B. This is why externally, I tell people, ask other people what their B is. Tell them how to get from A to B, how you're going to get them from A to B. Okay. And then show them a direct path and how to do it. And then ask them a simple question. Would you like my help with that? Would you like my help with this? Now, what if people have gone to 17 other people and not got the help they wanted? What if they've gone to other people and got ideas, but never got execution? What if they, right? You got to be able to say to people, when you come to me, I have, based on my unique past and my unique experiences and my unique education, I really have a unique skill set to move you from A to B. Okay. This is a primary skill. Okay. Now, in chapter 5, starts on page 39. I'm like, okay, I thought my primary skill was motivating people. I thought my primary skill was, right. Then I started giving it a name. Listen to this, why this is important, Sarah Cook. I started saying, man, I'm a specialist at building competitive intelligence in people. And they'd be like, competitive intelligence, what is that? I'm like, I spent 10 years of my life inner engineering kids to play at the highest level. I was really building a competitive intelligence in them. And that produced championships, actually 7 of 9 championships, even after I retired. And people go, now that is a skill. My team needs that skill. See, your skill solves my problem. That's where monetization takes place. So in an ideal world, and I used the example of me spending 4 years in the prison system, helping people get out of prison and stay out of prison. Okay. I spent 4 years in the prison system, rehabilitating maximum security offenders. And they paid me $450,000 for that assignment, 4-year contract, 450 G's, or bricks, as some people say. And I got finished with it and I went, that was meaningful, but I don't want to do that again. Now I'm doing some work for the Department of Corrections in Oregon coming up, but I'm trying to get my buddy Damon West, who wrote How to Be a Coffee Bean, who's speaking at Monster Nation. I'm like, you spent time in a Texas state prison. Like, you are passionate about this. You should be the one doing these contracts, not me. Okay. And he's like, how do I get in? How do I do it? Let me be your who, man. Let me show you how I structured a $450,000 agreement. Okay. So in the book, I ask these questions. My primary skill set is X. Number 2, I recognize this skill when. Number 3, I utilize this skill to solve what problem? Okay. Sullivan called it the largest check. Who would write you the largest check to solve the problem? Okay. All right. Can you guys see me? Hear me okay? Not freezing up? Then Barry said I froze up there for a second. Okay. Probably just that plastic surgery I had on my face, Ben, make me look frozen. Okay. Now, when you think about this, here are the questions. I was joking about the plastic surgery. I hadn't had any of that. All right. Number one, my primary skill set is what? I recognize this skill set when? I recognized it when I was 25 years old. I utilize this skill set to solve what problem? And number four, these are the people who would pay me the most money. Now, I like that one. Highly profitable, highly enjoyable. Okay. Now, this is where I get into tangible and intangible goals, chapter 6. People ask me, does my B have to be tangible? No. Happiness is a B goal. Okay. Could be tangible. Like I'm happy when we're out there hitting our sales goals. I'm happy when we're doing this. I'm happy when I'm helping these people. So I put real life examples in here. Operating on a 41% profit margin. I have 1,000 people in my coaching program. My personal net worth is 25 million. My passive income is greater than my living expenses. Okay. The churn of our company is less than 7%. Okay. I live at our house in Florida 90 days out of the year. I spend 1 weekend a month with my wife reconnecting. I have a baseline of X number of days with X number of time with my kids. Can everybody see how those are tangible numbers? Okay. Here are intangible B's. I'm healthy. I'm happy. I'm having a blast. I only work with people where I feel celebrated, not tolerated. I am using my happiness project and my fulfillment project. My days are based around my primary skill. I have great energy when I'm home with my wife and kids. I have outside passions other than work that I actually enjoy. I know you guys don't believe that I actually have passions outside of work, but I do. I like riding my bicycle, for God's sakes. I like creative spelunking. I like doing nothing sometimes. Okay. I know you don't believe that, but it's true. Okay. My work week consists of off days, practice days, and free days. I am free of any emotional tax. I am rejuvenated versus exhausted. Assignments is to do this exercise every single day. Okay. You want to write down A. Here's what I wrote down on my A's. Okay. And we will send the replay out to everybody who registered. Here's what I wrote down for my A's. I want you to think about your A's. I am too involved in the sales cycle. I'm overbooked and sometimes exhausted. I don't have enough good energy for my kids and I'm leaving them crumbs. Okay. I need someone to solve these problems for me. The business is too dependent on me. Some days I go, man, I don't enjoy doing some of the stuff I have to do. This facet of the business is not working like it should. See, this, you may write down all of these things on your A goals and go, you know what? These things keep me up at night. These things bring me worry and anxiety. These things give me emotional tax. These are things I need to get off my plate. B is I'm healthy, I'm happy, and I'm having a lot of fun doing what I love doing. We're making this much money. I'm seeing my wife and kids. Boom. Now, I'm going to finish up today with just a few concepts and I'll take some questions at the end. Because I get into Simon Sinek's, I'm in chapter 7 now on because goals. Simon Sinek wrote a book called Start With Why and Find Your Why. Okay. My new book that's coming out that I'm writing the manuscript right now is called Screw Your Why. Okay. And let me tell you why. I don't believe if you find your why, everything's going to get better. I don't believe you're going to have the motivation you need to do things. I don't believe that I believe you can know your why and still be broke. I believe I can know my why and not feel like doing it. So I like a concept called because goals. And a because goal is a big reason you do something when you don't feel like it. Okay. To go from A to B. Okay. This got me in trouble last week. To go from A to B, you're going to have to do some things you don't want to do. Now, when you know your because goals, you are able to absorb the things you don't want to do to go from A to B. So it's like A to B, I don't listen to my feelings. Amateurs listen to their feelings. Professionals do not listen to their feelings. I'm at A and I'm trying to get to B. So, well, I don't feel like doing that today. I don't feel like doing this today. I don't feel like doing this. See, I believe objects at rest stay at rest unless acted on by an outside force. That's physics. I believe for every action, there's an equal opposite reaction. Law of force. I believe in inertia. Okay. I believe in inertia, and inertia is resistance to move. So because I believe in all these things, I may not feel like prospecting today, but I prospect because I believe there is no wasted movement. Okay. I believe there is no wasted movement. So to get to B, this was what I was trying to say the other day when I was training that this group got offended by. I believe I can know my B, and I may not want to do some of the things it takes to get from A to B, but the reason I'm doing them is because I believe when I get there, I'm going to be happy and I have accomplished something. And the struggle of getting there actually makes it richer and more meaningful and more powerful. And I'm willing to suck the sour to get to the sweet, because one definition of passion is to suffer. So I go into this chapter in the book about what are your because goals? Like what? I do this because of this. I go make the money over here to be able to purchase this because it's in alignment with my passive income goals. I do things I don't want to do to be able to do this because I'm looking for this kind of life. I do this to pay for the jet so I don't have to sit beside the dude eating chicken wings on the Southwest plane. Okay. I do this freaking because of these reasons. Okay. Those are because goals. Okay. Now, I was flying into Houston, Texas one night, and I had an assistant, and I got in a hotel, and man, I just walked in to the hotel and I didn't like the vibe. I didn't like the feeling. I didn't like anything about the hotel. And I called my assistant that night. I said, I can't stay here. I'm not staying here. Okay. I'm not trying to be a diva, but I got to speak tomorrow. This is affecting my psyche. I don't feel like I can rest here. Because when you stay in 91 hotel rooms in a year, I've already stayed in 91 hotel rooms this year, 92 last night. It matters how you feel. Because of that, I can't stay here. I believe the environment matters to the energy of a person. That's a because goal. And because these people are paying me good money to come speak, I don't want to be in a funk when I show up. I don't want to be tired when I show up. I don't want to be in a bad mood when I show up. So because of that, I need you to cancel this room and find me another room, please. Okay. And that's just the way it is. Okay. Now, these are because goals. Now, let's finish up with this, and then I'll take some questions. I want to go Blue Marlins versus Blue Gills. I want to go the Great Reset, Retreat to Attack, and I want to go A to B every day. Okay. A Blue Marlin is a big relationship. See, I got into coaching EXP agents because Jay Kinder and Al Stasic hired me. And then I worked with Veronica Figueroa. Then I worked with Gogo Bethke. Then I worked with the #1 mega icon team out of North Carolina. Then I worked with Chris Dean and Monica Foster out of Houston, Texas. And I got in with these key people, and these key people said, this is valuable for me, and I guarantee it'll be valuable for you. And they began to introduce me to all these other people. This is why you hear me say the key to the many is to the one. So if I look back in my life and I go, okay, what really catapulted me? What was a catalyst? What helped me go boom? Speaking at 10X in 2018 catapulted my life, catapulted my career through a relationship with Grant Cardone. Built a relationship with Brad Lee, built a relationship with Tim Grover, built a relationship with Ed Milet, built a relationship with Tim Story. I'm about to go out and do a podcast out in Vegas. And the guy said, I saw you speak at 10X. Boom. Brett Coffee. That's exactly right. See, I could sit here and go on and on and on about that Blue Marlin relationship helping me explode my life. When I say who versus how in the book, that's a Sullivan concept. I go, okay, who's my Blue Marlins? What relationships do I need to be nurturing? Who, okay, who can help me move from A to B? When you wake up in the morning and you go, okay, who can help me? You never know who's watching you. The two guys that flew with me on the jet last night, one guy's never bought one thing from me. Never, not one thing. But he said, you know what? I thought it'd be cool to go with you on that jet. I needed a reset, coach. So in the chapter on the Great Reset, I'm like, sometimes we need to retreat to attack. Who can help us? Who can help us? Who can help us? Who can help us? That's how we need to be thinking. And then I would finish with this. How often do you need to be doing this exercise? Just rereading this book today to prepare for this and make notes for this. I got a whole page of notes right here. Just rereading this book made me think about my B. Passive income, greatness factories, real estate plays, coaching the people I love, spending time with my family. Like just reading the book made me go, you know what? I haven't been taking steps toward this. I hadn't been moving like I'm stagnant in this area. Who can help me get back into it? Okay. Who can help me get going again? Who can help me refocus on this? And that who is almost always a coach. Who can coach me in this area to help me get clear to move to that next level? And then how often do I need to be doing it? Every day. I need to be doing A to B every day. Writing it on a notepad, writing it on a napkin. Sometimes I'll go to a restaurant and just pull out a napkin. A to B, A to B. What's my B? I'm at A. How do I get to B? I'm healthy. I'm happy. I'm having fun. We're highly enjoyable and it's highly profitable. Okay. That is B. I'm clear. Okay. Now, this has been a lot of fun, guys. Who would have thought that an hour and a half would have went by that fast? Okay. Now I'm going to spend just a few minutes taking some questions. I told you in the beginning, there was no pitches. There's no 20-minute offer for you to do something with me. I actually believe the better I coach people, the more people are going to want to work with us. Okay. And you can choose how you want to work with us. One-to-one, come and spend a day with me. Monster Nation, get that prey drive activated by being around the Stone Cold Killers. Me coach your team. Okay. Me come and speak to your group. Okay. You can decide that and just reach out to us at info@coachburt.com, and team members will reach out to you and say, what's your B? and how can Coach Burt help you? That's really what we're going to be doing. So as we close out the day, let's take 3 minutes and take any questions. Read the book, David, man. I could really help you. David Strauss probably needs to spend a day with me, to be honest. He's got books and assets. We could really help him monetize those. Okay. Sandina, thank you. Jim, thank you. Thank you. I owe you. Okay. Chris Bradley was there yesterday, signed his books, saw him in person. Okay. Brittany, I think we delivered so well that there's no questions, man. When you deliver that good, ain't nobody got a question.
I just
broke the whole book down.
Yes. And guys, this will be recorded. You will get a copy of this. We'll send it out after we get it over on YouTube, and we'll send it out to you. So you'll get that. And then if you want to grab that bundle too, don't forget, we've dropped it in the chat quite a few times. I'll drop it again, and you get the 8-module course with it and the book. So that's such a great value.
And if you're a mover and shaker, we built a whole program around this called What's Next. This program is a prelude Is that a word? A preclude? It's a prelude.
Precursor, maybe? I don't
It's a
know.
precursor and a prelude. It's a prelude. It's a prelude. It's a prelude. It's a prelude to my What's Next program. And What's Next is our mover and shaker and program where people get into. I'm actually doing that today at 4:00. If you already bought the book, Flip the Switch, about 3 days ago, you're going to be good. These are two different books, two totally different books.
We actually do have a question, which is great, is how often should people be doing this exercise?
Every day.
Every day.
Every day. Every day. That's when people need to be doing the exercise every day. Do I rest? I do rest. I kind of rest, practice, and play. You know, that's kind of the model I use. So I have days today's actually not been that heavy of a day for me, to be honest with you. I flew in this morning, drove home, stopped and had lunch by myself, had a good lunch, went and rode my bicycle, swam for a little bit, made some calls. Then I have a couple Zooms. The next 2 days are fairly light. Then I go on the road to Arkansas next week. And a few other places. And when I'm going, folks. I'm moving. Should you tolerate people who see you as valuable, just in case you saw that? No, you should not tolerate that. Go where you feel celebrated, not tolerated. Full show. Okay, I got 3 to 4 books. You also have an Amazon Audible. I'm a sponge. There you go. Susan, I love that. Get as many books as you can. I'm coming out with Pray Drive on Audible as soon as I can read the book and work on that. It'll be on Audible with me reading. It's about 4 hours of me breaking the book down on Pray Drive. So I really went into studio, rented an incredibly nice studio, and it is really, really good. So that'll be out on Audible pretty soon.
Coach, we have one more, which I think is such a great question. Maybe we'll wrap up with this. Derek Butler asked, what's the best way to overcome unbelief in your B? And if you struggle with anxiety, so like maybe you have this B, but you're like, but I don't really know if I can do it. I don't really know if I'm capable. So what advice would you have for someone?
Get around people who are doing what you want to do and observe and watch and let that transfer of energy rub off on you. When you're low on confidence, you can borrow confidence from other people. And I observe a lot. What are they doing? How are they doing it? What's my version of how they're doing it? Now, I do not get caught up in, hey, well, they got more money than I do, or they're more famous than I am. I'm like, okay, if they can do it, I can do it. That's when I started doing webinars. I started seeing people do webinars, and I'm like, man, I need to be doing webinars. Okay. And, you know, how do we get 10,000 people on a webinar? How do we get 100,000 people on a webinar? Okay. That's what I started thinking. I saw a question in here from Bob Ritchie. Yeah, that's right, Justin Melton. I connect with a lot of people. Not everybody likes Coach Burt. You guys like Coach Burt, but not everybody does. So I go through a lot of duds just like you do. How do you pull B out of yourself when searching? I think you really need to work on this. You really need to work this book and these courses and just buckle down with this, man. I do it every day and I get clearer and clearer and clearer in who I am, what I want to do and how I want to do it and who I want to do it with, Bob. So remember when opportunities come up early today, I said, hey, man, return on energy, return on objective, return on investment. Okay. It may return the investment, but not return the energy. And I may go, you know what? Boom. Yeah. Karen Maxwell, we're going to Mexico. So Karen's talking about that. We're going to be doing 5 days in Mexico coming up. There's the mastermind getaway. So choose your group and come to Mexico with us. That'll be a great experience. We're going to be masterminding in Mexico. Oh, Coach Burt's going to be down there speaking. I'll be doing Pray Drive, and I'll talk a lot about my real estate, how we built, a healthy real estate portfolio, and how I use the coaching to do that, how I'm using intentional congruence with the real estate, the greatness factories, and the retreat centers. And I'm only continue to do that, guys. Okay. All right, Brittany. This has been a great experience. Thank you, guys. We love you. We appreciate you. We believe everybody needs a coach in life. If you want to do something with us, reach out, info@coachburt.com. Our team will follow up with you. They'll ask you a question. What are you trying to do? And they will place you in something that will be beneficial to you. And I I appreciate the opportunity to coach you. You give me my purpose. That's a good exchange. info@coachbird.com. God bless you. Everybody needs a coach in life. Thank you, guys. Make it a great day. A to B, baby.